They'll be calling you a radical. I got breaking news on protests. I wasn't going to put a video up today because, well, I'll get into that later. But first, I want to talk about what's going on in India right now. The protests that are going over there are so powerful, so massive, and everybody, all you anti-nuclear activists, all you writers, all you bloggers, Facebook, you need to get all over this. What's going on over there is so important and so massive. These protests are epic, what's going on in India. They have put 200 ships in the port and blocking it in defiance of their own government. People are going to jail, they're being arrested. There have been 2 people killed in this epic protest. So they have the 2,000 ships that are lined up. Then the second wave of defense. They have literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people are standing in the water, joining in. Men, women, children, blocking the freaking ships from coming in to build this freaking nuclear facility, to finish this nuclear, to block the uranium coming in, which I think it's coming in from Australia, as we are all guilty. These protests are epic. It is massive. It is so brilliant what's going on. If we did the exact same thing here as they're doing there, we would all go to jail. As the geese are singing, and that's one reason I did this video right here. They're migrating through right here, right now. They're coming through. They're not here all year. The geese are migrating through, and I'm getting ready to make my annual trek out onto the other side to some of the most obscure real estate in the world. As any environmentalist, any I know this. No one ever goes out there. I grew up there. I make a trek every year. I've been waiting for the skies to clear. As we've had the smoke from the fires from Oregon and Washington just covering our, I've been waiting to get out to the jetty. I've been out there, but the skies are on. But I go even further, where the wild horses roam, and I'm going to try to get some video of where the tundra swans come through. It's that time. The tundra swans is behind my house. They used to come through. Is that corporate welfare dairy farmer who called himself a teabagger, who's drawn tens of millions, drained the greatest delta in the world off illegally and gets away with it. You protesters, you anti-nuclear voters, get on this. Get on this. What's going on in India? It is massive. And remember this, the Indian population. Bhopal, what happened over there by the American companies. As the America factory blew up and they did nothing, and they used the U.S. courts to backdoor all of their laws as they murdered and murdered and murdered, which until Fukushima, until Chernobyl was the greatest environmental accident in world history, which has been trumped by Chernobyl, which has been trumped by hundreds of thousands of times by Fukushima. Fukushima is still going on right here, right now. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. Nothing, because no one knows what to do. It's just, it is the classic denial, as this is the beginning and the end. I've been working on my documentary. That's what these videos I've been doing. I'm building a documentary. As in my plastering business for years, every time I'd get mad at one of my employees, one of my hot tenders, one of my workers, I would just say this: I'm not mad. I'm just going to do what I always have to do. Hire back the best hot tender I ever had. Hire back the best plaster I ever had. Myself. As I'm building a documentary, and I found this young, dynamic, experienced 52-year-old who really hasn't had the expertise in the IT world. But he's learning, and he's learning. I've hired him to build this document, which I term, Redford, put this in your fucking film festival. That's going to be the name of it. That's what these are about. The beginning to the end, which is, I think, true. I hired that kid. He ain't a kid, 52-year-old. If he doesn't die first, because he's full of leukemia, I hired him myself. I know, as an activist, I know, as my post-ignorance, as I state over and over, this is about doers. This is about getting off your ass. This is about I get off my ass every day. I am full of an extremely aggressive form of AML leukemia. Extreme. My platelets are still low, but I will not quit. As many of the doctors argue, Kevin, as I hike Mount Ogden every day. I hike those trails every single day. I have defied the odds. They gave me 2 months to live as I got leukemia after my rants. As I protest with this camera. I do everything I can possibly can. Post-ignorance, I really honestly believe that you are viewing history right now. And as I make my videos, my videos are not intended to feed some demographic, to feed some populace. As Google has come back to me 3 times since they pulled the plug on my AdSense account, since they pulled the plug on my YouTube account, as they kicked me while I was down with a PICC line hanging out of my chest fighting for my life in the bone marrow transplant center. They've asked me 3 times to come back. I don't want their money anymore. Don't give me back your money, I don't want it anymore. Fuck them. The doctors told me, no, you cannot hike through Memory Grove like that every day with your mask and your freaking, as I called it, my evil twin hooked to me. My tree with 26 different drugs and my bag of chemo over. This is the fuck, you ain't stopping. I did it anyway. One doctor told me, you just do whatever you're doing. I don't know what you've been doing, Kevin, but you just keep fucking doing. As I say, post-ignorance, as we live in historical times, and I've made my videos not for today, not for tomorrow, for future generations to look back. That's who I'm grooming and posturing myself. I want people to look back in historical form. This is history, and I'll tell you how, why is people not identifying? As polls come out, still people say, oh yeah, we still need to, why? These fucking contemporized fucking fake masquerading murderers, fucking fake Christians, hairsprayed, walk into church, fucking in denial, fucking, this is the classic epic in denial, fools couldn't tell Picasso but smacked them in their stupid fucking faces. This fucking time is the most ignorant people in the history of the world. Is this camera right here on this camp before Fukushima happened. Interview. What is your opinion of Congress? We hate 2015, including Protestor. Second question. Who is your congressman or woman? No one fucking knows. You are ignorant. The masses are dumb. I'm not a secondhand movie star here to fucking tend you. I'm here to report this as a fucking historical, documented piece, as an art movement, as a culture, as this is happening right here, right now. This is history. The end of the atomic nuclear era is ending right here, right now. Does it matter that the populace can't see it? It doesn't matter if the populace can't see it. That, as people freaking come at you and tell you, oh, you're crazy, you're brave, that is a compliment, that is a compliment, because these ignorant masses are morons, they cannot see. As I wrote a piece several years ago, as I was a trader and I was freelance, I wrote a piece that I said, look, buy Apple, buy Apple, buy Apple, and if this was directly to Nokia. As Apple moves into Europe, you're going to go back to being a timber company. I got into it. I spoke at a meeting with a bunch of the board members of RIM. I said, you guys are so done. I was heavily involved with Palm. As Bono puts the money up there, what a fool, what a fool. I said, you guys better get on. Apple is going to annihilate you and eat you up unless you consolidate. Why? Why? Because people cannot recognize the obvious. How do you not recognize that Apple, when they're making $53 a share, $53 a share, per forward PE ratio of 8, you don't recognize that's the buy. It blows my mind. People cannot, these are finance guys. This is your freaking, people are ignorant. They couldn't tell Picasso to smack them in their face. They will. They will. As the plume will come into California. And he's ignorant, oh, we still think nuclear is clean. We just need to clean that its cake, because they're fucking fools and they have no idea of what's going on. The protesters in India, because they have experience with it. Because that accident that happened in Bhopal was epic, and it killed and it maimed and it disfigured and it deformed. But here, the epic slow killer. As I get leukemia, as I've been fighting this for 40 years. Anybody that wants to go with me, show up. I'm going to go the next couple days. I'm going to take this trek out to some of the most obscure real estate, some of the most magnificent, beautiful real estate. As I've waited this time of year, I do it every year. Last year, I wasn't able to make it. Had a few problems. Given 2 months to live, called leukemia, AML, which my AML came from atomic fallouts. Stand up, you fuckers, and identify what's going on in fucking India. And you fuck, if we did the same thing here, we would be put in prison. If you don't believe that's true, ask Tim to Christopher. And why everybody in this country is not outraged and just totally fucking outraged at what they've done to Tim to Christopher is beyond me. It is beyond me. It is beyond me. What have they done to him? For nothing. For nothing. If he gets 2 years for what he did, you do what they do in India here, they would execute you. They would haul you to freaking Huntsville and juice you. That is a fact. They would spray mace on you in your face in Berkeley. They would beat you with clubs like they did the shirtwaist girls of 1911 in the streets of San Francisco or Oakland, in Seattle. That's what they would, oh yeah, they did do that. Wake up, fuckers. Wake up, you fucking ignorant fuckers. This is history. This is history. This is the end of the atomic nuclear era. It is over. It is over. Post-ignorance has begun because of the information age. Let's support those people in India every way we possibly can. And this is the first step. Kevin Blanch. Stay tuned.